Hello, writers. Welcome to this week's Writer's Tool Shed. We're looking at 5 new words today to use for our analysis. Example analysis week 2, quote, I am not ashamed to confess that I am ignorant of what I do not know, by Cicero. Analysis. At first, it might appear that Cicero is making an observation about his own ignorance, saying that he knows less than other people. However, if we read more closely, we discover that it's quite plausible he thinks he knows better than everybody. In the quote, he says he's ignorant of what he does not know. But being ignorant is, by definition, not knowing something. So everyone is ignorant of what they do not know. The real distinction Cicero is making is between being ashamed and not being ashamed. There may be some people who try to hide their ignorance, which involves pretending they know when really they have no idea. But Cicero will unashamedly say in front of people, I don't know. So let's take a look at our 5 words. The first one is make a distinction, to explain a difference between things or groups, especially a subtle difference. If you see in the picture, we've got a bunch of pencils. They're all, regular pencils, but you can see that we can make a distinction between the different uses and the different kinds of pencils and their pros and cons. Connections. I want to make a distinction between not liking something and not feeling like doing it at the moment. Maybe you've had that conversation with your parents where, yeah, I like practicing piano, but that doesn't mean I feel like doing it right now when I'm busy with something else. It's important to make the distinction between a need and a luxury when you're figuring out what to spend money on. That's where you stop and you ask yourself, do I really need this, or is it something that's just would be nice? Discover, verb, to find out, learn the existence of something, realize. And I'm sure we've heard this word a lot. Scientists discover new truths about the universe. You discover new insights about your friends. But when we're talking about literature, discovering is something that you do by reading more closely into the text. At first, it seems like the writer agrees, but as we look more closely, we discover he isn't quite as on board as he seems. So there's a lot of discovering to be done by just reading more carefully. Plausible, something that is likely or believable. So this thinking face guy is thinking, hey, do I think that's true? Well, it's plausible, which means it might be true. I could see it happening, but you don't necessarily have the facts to be able to say that it is true or not. It's plausible that he might have been at the store at the time of the theft, but is it true? And so you see the word plausible a lot when you're talking about people's arguments. Oh, he makes a plausible argument. Like you could follow the line of thinking, but I don't know if it's true in this particular case. Involve, verb to hold within itself, to include. So this one is a list because when you're talking about what something involves, you're usually talking about a list of things that have to be done to go with that thing. Getting straight A's involves paying attention in class, studying, doing your homework, and not missing any big tests or projects. So all of those are what getting straight A's involves. Proving this argument is true involves first presenting reliable evidence. So this word involves becomes very useful when you're analyzing to say like, hey, what does this need to include before the author can say like, yep, we've proved it. Last one is observation, the act of noticing something or pointing it out. This guy's observing with a magnifying glass. And so this one I'm sure you know already, but use it when you're analyzing your text. Use it to talk about what the author is doing. The author makes the observation that cats can be bigger than dogs depending on the circumstance, because you're trying to help explain to someone else what this author is doing. And so that's what authors spend a lot of their time doing is they point things out, they make observations. And so you can help somebody else see that too.